Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and I'm here to do a video today to talk about the NRL in Vegas. Now, the previous videos I've done, I pretty much went and I've talked about the fact that I thought it was going to be a little bit of a flop, and I'm here to say that I don't think it was a flop. Was it a huge success? You know, debatable. I feel like a lot of Australians are going to be here, and the people who went over there, they're going to be here, and they're going to say, yes, it was a huge success, but it remains to be seen whether it's going to be a success. Especially long term, especially it's a 5-year deal and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of the crowd that they got, the games that they produced, everything seemed to look pretty good. On TV, it looked nice. I'm imagining the American audience. I'm not sure what the viewers were like in terms of, what sort of ratings they got. But at the same time, I thought out of the game you could have produced in round one, I thought you got two of the best ones. And actually, funnily enough, if I've looked at these games and I saw them at bloody SFS, Sydney Football Stadium or something, I probably would have went, oh, this is such a nothing game. Or, if I just saw them in Sydney, I probably would have thought too much of these games. I would have thought, pretty standard round one games. Not necessarily a rivalry game. They seem to sort of gone away from that one. But in terms of them being in Australia, nothing special. Just a couple decent sides, not the worst sides, not the best sides. A couple decent sides playing each other. Not really too much to it, but they've taken it over there and they've played some absolutely fantastic matches. Now, I just want to point out, there was a little bit of talk, especially from myself and, the media and, all that sort of stuff. The fact that, the field was going to be shorter and all that sort of stuff. I honestly didn't notice the difference. I really didn't. Just watching it, just in terms of the actual gameplay itself, I didn't notice a difference. Now, there was a little bit of talk from some of the players the sideline's going to be in a little bit. It's going to affect the kicking so much, and, the in-goal's a little bit shorter. Genuinely didn't notice a difference, honestly. If you didn't tell me and you didn't shove it down our throats, the fact that it's a smaller field, probably wouldn't have noticed. And, that's on me, and that's on the media as well. But I thought it was going to play a little bit more of a part than what it did, but honestly, I didn't really notice anything. I thought the actual setup of the ground itself, it looked absolutely amazing. The field looked nice. You can definitely see just the state-of-the-art facilities that America has. Even the best stadiums in Australia, you go over and play one game in America and you're like, all right, we got a little bit to work on here in terms of Australia up against America. But just the actual visual presentation of it, I thought it was absolutely amazing. The games itself are absolutely amazing. Obviously, there is a little bit of a sour point, and I'll get to that, and that's obviously the racism claims, which I think are pretty much true, allegedly true, but I think are pretty much true. With Spencer Leniu and Ezra Mam, confrontations at hotels and all that sort of stuff. Pretty hectic, last 24 hours. But in terms of the actual gameplay itself, if America was ever going to watch a game, I feel like these were the games to have seen. It started off the season fantastically. I thought the referees were great. They didn't. Normally in round one we see huge crackdowns, and probably we'll see that in the next coming games that are back in Australia for the rest of round one. But I thought they refereed it well. They kind of, they let things sort of slide a little bit. Not so much, origin sort of standards. But basically, I feel like the players, they're pretty well behaved in terms of playing on the field. They followed all of the rules. And maybe the off-season changes aren't that big of a deal. I thought the dropout rule, Roosters really took advantage of it. But overall, I thought it was a great spectacle. And I'm here, and I wasn't someone who was, I don't want to get this twisted. I wasn't someone here who was I want the NRL to fail. I really want the NRL to succeed in terms of me making videos and all that sort of stuff. Everything is better for me if the NRL succeeds. So there's no reason for me to not want them to succeed. I just thought they did it poorly. But going over there, actually executing it, I thought they've done quite a good job. My only problem is, you look back at some previous things, right? Like the Nines. Let's use the Nines as a perfect example. The Nines was looked at the first year. What a success. How good is this? Can't wait for next year. 5 years later, it's not even there. Just want to point that out, is that, as good as this first one was, it is the first one. There's going to be that hype because it is the first one. It's the first game of the season regardless. It's going to be hype. The rest of the games are going to be mad hyped up too. Let's just point that out. In terms of growing an audience in America, I've seen some of, Grayson Waller from the WWE was there. I think Tom Hardy, the actor, was there. All your Russell Crowes, Hugh Jackmans, all your NRL Australian fans, they weren't actually there, which is kind of ironic. But, considering Russell Crowe's doing, the voiceovers and all that sort of stuff. But it definitely didn't attract, the A-listers that I think maybe they're hoping to get there. But Look, I think they got enough. They got enough names there, and you know, Grayson Waller. He's a big deal in Australia last week. Literally was getting cheered by the whole nation, and now he's at the ground, and he's wearing his Roosters jersey and supporting them. So he's posting it online. Tom Hardy there, like I said, amongst other ones there probably as well. But look, I will say that I definitely do agree, and I do think that the trip was basically like a boys' trip for a lot of, the Fox Sports crew and all that sort of stuff. You've seen a lot of the Matty Johns boys, Cooper Johns there. You've seen like a lot of these guys in the media, and even like sports bet and all that sort of stuff. It's like, it's a nice little trip for them, and obviously they're going to talk it up deluxe. They're going to hype it up, because why would you not want to go overseas, go to a place like Las Vegas, so many things to do. But as much as they've hyped it up, I feel like it's way more hyped up in Australia than what it actually was in Vegas. Now, when they started off the coverage, I remember them saying like, oh, U2's over, another arena, McDonald's there, and all that sort of stuff. But the rugby league's the biggest game in town, and that's what everyone's here for. And it's like, look, let's be real. It's not. It's really not. You can try and twist it as much as you want. And I got to say, like, some of the commentary to me was absolutely cringe. And I know they're going to a worldwide audience. And that's also another thing I want to touch on too, is that, they're in America for the first time, but they kept mentioning how it's at a worldwide audience for the first time ever. And it's like, you've been playing across Europe. Like, there's a competition in England. We just did a World Club Challenge. You're kind of just downplaying that. And that's where it's like, I feel like they kept constantly comparing it to other things like the Super Bowl. Oh, the Super Bowl was here a month ago. And it's like, so you're going to remind us that this stadium that is half packed out. I mean, 40,000 is a lot, but it wasn't sold out by any means. So you're going to constantly remind us the fact that this stadium isn't sold out, and compare us to something a month ago that had the whole world watching. Like, I don't understand. Well, I do understand it in the sense that you're like, this is the same venue, but kind of want to be relevant. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think it's a good look, especially if you're an Australian, you look at it, it doesn't really bother you too much. But if you're an American watching it, you're like, well, this doesn't seem like a big deal. Like, a month ago, we had this packed out for like 10 times the prices, and it was like fully sold out. Now I was kind of seeing like half a stadium. To me, this, obviously it is a gimmick, and I do think it was a success, and, I can't wait for next year. I honestly think it's going to be really good next year, but at the same time, for us to sort of sit here and be like, oh, this is a sure thing, like, what a great idea, NRL. It's like, hang on, just give it a couple years. If a couple years it works, obviously. But at the same time, if we were going off the NRL 9s, we'd be sitting here and saying what a success it was, and, here it is, not even existing in 2024. So just want to point that out. I think that's a great comparison, the 9s to Vegas. As much as you want to deem this a success, just have to wait and see, because you need some long-term viewers. Like, it's no real point going over there and having a couple of viewers who come across and they have a look at it, but not really gaining anything. Obviously it looks good. It looks good for the Australian audience, but the Australian audience is already there. Obviously, it looks good for the Australian audience, but the Australian audience is always. Obviously, it looks good for the Aussie audience, but I mean, the Aussie audience. I mean, it looks good for the Aussie audience, but realistically, the Aussie audience is always going to be there. So, it's about getting new viewers. So I'm intrigued to see if we gain new viewers, or we just had a bunch of Aussies and New Zealanders and English people or whatever come across to Vegas for a good time. I mean, it's worked out for Las Vegas tourism, I'm guessing, in terms of bringing them across, but remains to be seen what it actually affects long term in terms of the NRL. But a nice little spectacle. It got us hyped for the 2024 season. So in that regards, it is a success. And I think overall, it's been a success, and I'm keen for next year. But I just wanted to just do a little video and talk about the fact that, the games were fantastic, and we saw some absolute upsets in terms of Manly winning, and then obviously the Roosters winning as well. But, and, the racial allegations, which I think does put a dampener on it, let's be real, especially in America too, a lot of racial sort of tension in terms of America, and then all of a sudden you have this one coming, and you have Broncos players confronting Spencer Leniu. He's doing post-match comments that are absolutely despicable, honestly. Not a good look. I hope he gets rubbed out for quite a long time, Spencer Leniu, with just the comments he made, even like no remorse, no nothing. This wasn't a good look for the game, especially with them trying to grow the game, in a nation that is, there's a lot of racism and stuff. It's very heavy racism, so it's just not a good look in terms of that. So I expect the NRL to throw Spencer Leniu the book, honestly, but look, I don't want to go too much in on that. Obviously, that's that's going to play out in the next coming weeks over what happens to him. But a great weekend, maybe a few little shadows over it, but, overall a great weekend. And I need to do a video considering I'd done previous videos talking about the fact that I thought it was going to be a flop, probably was going to be a flop and, weren't going to get any fans there. But a lot of people went over there. But just want to point out too, again, that, if you're following people who are like social media guys, your sports bet guys, you're like, your gurus, like your sort of rugby league personalities, obviously they're going to go over there and have a fantastic time. If I was over there right now, I'd probably be telling you how great of a time it was. We're just looking realistically long term, is this going to be effective for the NRL? And, remains to be seen. But guys, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts of these games. Was it a success, or do we need to sort of give it a little bit more time to just see how things play out? Because that's how I think it is, just give it a little bit more time, see how things play out. Because like I said, if you're going off 1 year, the NRL 9s would be bigger than the bloody NRL. And, here we are 5 years later, it doesn't even exist. Anyways, guys, we wrap things up here. Hopefully you did enjoy this one. If you did, make sure you go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that sort of stuff. You kind of know the drill at this point. So leave a like and subscribe, especially with me uploading. Been uploading quite, frequently, and, I've taken a little bit of time off work, so going to be uploading quite frequently and making lots of videos. So stay tuned for that. Use the notification bell, you want to. Stay tuned for more content. Don't miss it. Also, social media, it's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. Go ahead, give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. Doing uploads on TikTok and obviously, Instagram. I feel like I always upload to Instagram as well, especially stories and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, just give me a follow on social media. Also, I want to give a special mention to the members. You're seeing them on the screen right now. Don't have a great deal of them, but the ones who have stuck solid, thank you so much. There is a few of them, also the super chatters as well, a lot of familiar names. Thank you so much for supporting me, supporting the channel monetarily, especially over these current times. So thank you so much for all that. And look, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching. And, on to bigger and better things. The rest of the NRL season is here, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you in the next one. See yous.